We are doing the art of presentation. You can see the course code. Today we will discuss what is presentation, some of the important aspects. We talked about these matters earlier. We will just recapitulate. Okay, we will recap. Now, what is presentation? We know that already, right? It is a structured way of sharing ideas, or we can say that it is a mode of communication, right? It has several purposes, like for example, some purpose of presentation might be to inspire. You know about motivational speech, right? So that is more popular today than the other types of presentation, okay? Now you can see an example. There are other purposes of presentations. These are, to name them, informative presentations in the format of news reports. You are familiar with that, right? News reports are a kind of presentation. Then there are persuasive presentations. I'm sure you are familiar with this one too. No, the persuasive one. Yes, it can be argumentative in tone in some respects, but not entirely, because it is for corporate or business sectors, and basically people present sales pitch to their buyers or other members, right? So this is something to do with persuasion. The language is different, the body language is different, the slides are different, the points presented and the ideas presented are different, okay? Clear so far? Right. The next one is instructional or demonstrative. In here, people show or instruct about how to do certain things, depending on the topic, okay? So it is like a tutorial. For example, to show you how to cook something, to how to sew garments, to how to repair machineries or clean stuff. These tutorials are known as instructional or demonstrative presentation. So let me stop here briefly. As I mentioned earlier, please note down the things and your queries if you have any, so that we can discuss later on, okay? And lastly, the inspirational or motivational speech. This is also another form of presentation, right? So the last one is the most popular nowadays, isn't that so? Right? We can see that in here. Which type is most used? Take a look at this. So this is a survey which was done by the HubSpot Presentation Engagement, okay? Back in 2023. They did a research, a survey, and this is the result of it. Informative presentations are done up to 55%, depending on the engagement levels. All right. Persuasive, 70%, instructional, 65%, and inspirational, 80%. So inspirational or motivational speeches are able to be more effective, are able to engage the audience more. Motivational speeches are more interesting than the other three. Is the graph clear? Right. Moving on. Some elements of an effective presentation. There has to be a clear objective. For example, what I am doing right now is a form of presentation, right? And we have a purpose. I have a purpose, which is to explain things to you, to discuss a topic, which is the art of presentation, how to adopt adopt it, how to adapt ourselves to it, right? Also, it requires visual supports. We have that here, okay? Not in forms of pictures, we will move on to that later on, but in forms of points or graphs. And it has to have a simple structure, not too complex, nothing too complicated, if the presenter is to engage the audience or connect to them, right? Is this much clear to everyone? Now about body language, we discussed this as well. Let us take a look once again at what it is. So we need to stand tall. How we are standing shows how confident we are. Shows that we are not afeared. We do not feel fear, right? Also, there's an example. I talked about this as well. Open arms show confidence. Closed arms are somewhat like this. If you slouch, if you bend down, that shows weakness or lack of confidence. Okay? So stand tall, have an open arm. It shows that you are welcoming questions or queries or any sort of feedback from the audience. Alright? So there goes the body language section. Then we have eye contact, a very important section of the art of presentation, a very important part. So we need to look at the audience to build trust. If we are looking at the audience, if we are establishing an eye contact with the audience, we are appearing more believable, more trustworthy. Okay? There's a tip there, as you can see. Move your gaze slowly. So this is one thing which I am doing, I have been doing. Okay? So that's all about the basic things. Now I think we can take a look at a few examples and discuss more.